Library's Activities to Go DIY Quiet Book instructional video. If you're here, you probably registered for one of our kits, so now is the time to get out all of those materials as well as your hot glue gun or fabric glue. This project will definitely be easier using hot glue, but craft or fabric glue will work too. If you're here and you did not snag one of our awesome kits, you're in luck. You can find a link to our supply list and all the patterns in the description box. You can gather your own supplies and join us. In this video, I'll walk you through putting together each page of your quiet book. Some pages are pretty self-explanatory, so feel free to fast forward or pause as needed. It won't hurt my feelings. If you do watch all the way through, you can play a fun game called How Many Times Will the Librarian Burn Herself on Hot Glue? Spoiler alert, it's a lot. For real though, be careful if you're using hot glue. While I've been talking, you've seen me show you how each page works. Now let's dive into putting our book together. The first thing you'll want to do is grab your thick piece of aqua felt. That will become your cover. Then you're going to find your 6 square pages. If you want your book to be just like mine, you'll want them in this order from last to first. Royal blue, 2 gold pages, purple, black, and light blue on top. I'll stack those up really neatly, and then I will glue them to create the spine of my book. I then went through and added a little bit of extra glue in between each page just so no pages fell out. Do make sure you don't put too much glue in between or you will start to shrink your pages down and you will not have enough room for everything that needs to go on the page. Next, you'll need to cut out all of your pattern pieces, then trace them onto the appropriate felt. Some patterns have a color listed and others are up to you. I found it helpful to have a second copy of the patterns to reference when it came to some of those smaller pieces. Rather than printing a copy, I just took pictures on my phone. Then you'll need to cut all those felt pieces out. It's kind of tedious, so maybe put the kids to bed and then get cutting in front of some Netflix. You can see this page I've already started goes on the light blue background. I made a mistake right there and I glued down the top of the tree and I had to peel it up and kind of rearrange things. So what I found to work best is to lay everything out on the page first, and then you can pick up pieces and glue them down a little bit at a time. As you're doing this, you could totally change things. You can trim pieces and make them smaller if they don't fit for you. You'll see I do that later. Or you can add stuff. So when you're finished here, you will have an apple tree and your child can put the apples on the tree, count them, and then tuck them in that little basket. This next page is probably my favorite page. It's our whale. So for this one, you're going to want to cut out your water pieces, your fish, your little water droplets, and your whale. You can see that what I did there was fold my whale in half to cut a slit for where the mouth will go. I've got a 4-inch zipper, so you're just going to want to see how long you need that slit to be. And then you're just going to glue it down on either side of the zipper. So one side of the whale's mouth will go on either side. I recommend doing one side at a time and not doing what I did because I definitely burned myself. Then you can trim off any excess and check to make sure the zipper is working nicely. This is one of those spots where I glued the page a little bit too closely on the interior seam, so I had to kind of squish my whale on there. You're going to glue your whale around the bottom, tuck that tail on there if it doesn't quite fit, and then across the top. You're going to leave the spot below the zipper as a pocket for all your little fish to go in. Next, you'll glue the water coming out of the whale's spout and the water at the bottom of the page. And you'll grab those googly eyes. The big googly eye will go on your whale, and then each little fish will get one googly eye as well. Then once you're finished, you can tuck all of those fish away in that zipper pocket. Our next page is our pepperoni pizza counting page. You'll need to find 2 tan circles, 1 yellow circle, and all of those tiny red pepperoni circles. You'll glue down your one tan circle, and then you'll need to cut your other tan circle and your yellow circle into 1/8. Those will become your pizza slices. Then you'll get your Velcro pieces out, and you'll glue a Velcro on the back of each slice. Make sure that you have either the soft side down or the grippy side down so that it all matches up and the pieces are easily rearranged. You'll glue your pepperonis on 1 through 8. A good idea is to glue the 8 on first to make sure that they all fit. The next 2 pages actually go together. We'll have a washing machine on one side and a clothesline on the other. So you're going to take your white washing machine piece and glue all the way around the edge, not around that inner circle, and set it in the center of your page. You're going to cut a piece of your clear plastic to fit inside that gray ring to make your washing machine door and glue it on there. And then you're going to take an additional piece of gray felt to create a hinge. You'll glue it onto the back of the door, and then don't do what I just did because you will definitely burn yourself. Better idea would be to open it up flat like that and then put the glue down. You can add buttons for more detail, and then you're ready to move on to the next page. We've got our laundry basket that will go at the bottom. This is one that you're definitely going to want to lay out. You can add patterns to your sock pieces. I did not make those for you. You just have the plain socks, so you can decorate those in any way you like. You'll cut your clear cord to go the width of your page, and then tack it down with an additional piece of purple felt. I laid a sock out because I wanted to make sure there was room for the sock to hang before the second line. And then tack down both edges of those, trimming if you need to. Then you'll glue your laundry basket at the bottom, much like you did your apple basket on the first page. And then I lay out my socks and glued them all down. You'll have extra socks. Those can go in the washing machine or in the basket. And then you'll add your mini clothespins to the line, and then that will be a fun matching game. So when you make your socks, make sure that you have 6 matching pairs. Alright, our next page is a train. Now you'll see when I lay these on here that I don't have enough room on the top row. So I went back and I trimmed them down just a little bit, and you can feel free to do that too if needed. You'll glue your engine and 2 train cars along the top and 3 train cars on the bottom. Then you'll add your windows. You could trim those too if you wanted to, and your wheels. And then you're going to cut little strips to match each car and make a little loop out of them. So you'll glue one end down and then glue it on the inside so that you get a little loop. Because this page is going to be a lacing page. So your child will be able to practice those fine motor skills and work on lacing the cord through the train cars. So now we are going to attach our lacing underneath one of those first wheels, and then you can see your lacing can just slip through each of those cars to connect them, and then you can trim the excess. This page is a Tangram page. I have already cut out these pieces and added my Velcro to them, so you could pause the video if you need to catch up. And I learned my lesson on this page and laid everything out to begin with. So gluing all of my Tangram pieces down. You can see my little plane up there in the top right corner. I used a white piece of felt for that plane and then colored it with Sharpie. You could do that as well. I glued a little tiny piece of felt on the back, leaving a space open in the middle, because I'm going to use a piece of that clear cording to run through the plane so that it can move back and forth across the clouds. So I played with my layout a little bit to make sure that I had a good spot. So we've got a little bonus cloud over here. We're going to tuck one end of our cord underneath and then slip our plane on and then tuck that other end. I was going to put it under that nearest cloud, but I decided to put it under that back one instead, so it had a longer ways to go. So then you can see the plane can move back and forth. This is another 2-page spread. So this is our road. So you're going to need your big road pieces. Kind of play with the layout a little bit, get those glued on in a way that fits. You could always change the shape of the road if you don't like this one. You didn't have to cut that one out, you can do something else instead. And then our car wash pieces, so that's just kind of a C shape or a U shape, and then I just cut slits in the gray to get those kind of car wash pieces coming down. I noticed that my house is too big again, so again I trimmed it and added doors and windows, which I also trimmed. And then we're gonna make a stoplight and a gas station for our cars. So that's the roof of the gas station, and you can go back later and add words with Sharpie or with paint marker or paint. And we're gonna put our little gas pump there. What I should have done is glue the cable right here that I'm gonna put the gas pump on with. I should have glued that one end down underneath the gas pump first. Put a piece of your Velcro on the back of your 2 cars so that your child can stick them on and they won't get lost, but they can also take them off to play with them. And then you'll add a bunch of lane marking stripes. And now that my glue has dried on the end of my gas pump, you just tuck that on there. Alright, one last 2-page spread. So for this one, you have some options. I did not give you these cutout number shapes, so you can cut them out if you would like freehand, or you could just do number squares on both sides. So basically what we're doing is creating one side that has a Velcro number, and I'm just gluing that side down with the lacing underneath, and then I use a circle to hold down the opposite end. If you were just using the squares, you wouldn't need that circle and you could skip that part altogether. You can see I made a mistake and I forgot to put my beads on before I glued that end down, so I pulled that up and I put my beads on. So basically you're gonna have kind of like a little abacus where your child can slide the number over and they can also match up the numbers. So you can pull all those Velcro numbers off and then they can practice matching those to the numbers on the other side. You'll just continue to count out as many beads as the row that you're on and then glue down the opposite end. Make sure that you put the same side of Velcro on all of your numbers. When you finish up this page, you'll see that you have one more blank page that you could either leave blank or make up a page of your own. I already cut this strip for you, so you don't have to worry about cutting it, but this is what we're going to use to close our book. So you're going to glue one side down on the back cover, and then you'll glue a piece of Velcro on the other side, and I just had them stuck together, and then that will make your closure. You have some trim included that you can add to the cover of your book. You could also use some of your leftover felt to add your child's name to the cover or decorate it in some other way. It's totally up to you. That's it, you did it. If you have any questions, feel free to email us at ysp@davenportlibrary.com.